Hello, this is Christopher Pistol with Poopy Farts Productions.
Yeah, I'm Garrett, the gay rat, with Poopy Farts Productions as well.
And we are obsessed horror fans who just like to, watch
Commentaries at midnight.
Yes, and this is what we're doing. We're doing commentary to our favorite film, Mustafa Akkad's, who directed this film, Night of the Living Halloween.
With George Romero and Dario Argento.
Yes.
Halloween.
They wish they could have made this movie.
Yes, they would have made lots of money.
Deborah Hill was John Carpenter's girlfriend. Did you know that?
Jamie Lee Curtis, she's old now.
She is.
So is everyone else who's
Jamie
in this
Lee
movie.
Curtis kind of reminds me of my Aunt Barbara, who's not really my aunt, from Memphis, Tennessee. But she has a New York accent. PJ Soles is the one who almost shows her boobs in this movie. Not quite. Charles Cypress never went on to do anything.
He has the coolest name award, though.
Yeah.
You'll notice the jack-o'-lantern is getting closer and closer.
That's a film technique called moving the camera closer to the thing.
Is that called panning?
No, it's called tilting up.
We got a digital film student here.
Yes, I went to...
You notice they kind of messed up on the nose there. They connected the
did.
nose and the mouth.
Well, you had to get to it somehow.
No, you didn't. They messed up. Just
John
admit it.
Carpenter.
They screwed up. This was a low budget. They couldn't afford another
Personally,
pumpkin.
I think the music for this movie was the best of all the movies.
Composed by John Carpenter himself.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Wait, no, he didn't compose it.
Yes, he
did. Did he?
Yeah.
He's not a composer.
I
though.
heard
he
him-
wrote the music.
Well, composed, wrote, same thing.
Yeah.
I heard him tell a story about the way he came up with that little jingle was his father would show him beats on this bongo, and he showed him like a traditional Caribbean beat on the bongo, which is like ba boom boom ba boom boom ba, and he just did that with the fifths on the
That's
piano.
freaking crazy. I don't know if you knew this, but when I was in high school, me and my friends Jonathan Bennett and Terrence. What was Terrence's last name?
I don't think we can say their real names in the commentary.
Okay,
That's
I'm
illegal.
sorry. I meant
Poopy McPoopy Pants.
Poopy McPoopy Pants. Jonathan Poopy Pants and Terrence Poopy Face. We tried to remake this movie. I wanted to remake this movie with my...
Just a note here.
My
This is such
handycam.
an influential shot right here. You
It
see
really
that
is.
copied in every horror movie almost.
Yeah. I really like the kind of home movie look of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
Especially
it's kind
when
of...
it's from the killer's POV.
It's really grainy and kind of dirty. The lighting is really, it's very colorful and kind of Chinatownish.
It's kind of comic bookish at times.
Yeah. That too.
Here we
Anyway.
go, getting some action.
Anyway, me and my friends, I love the dubbing in this part. It's just like, I love you. Let's go there and fool around.
1970s overdubbing.
Yeah. Oh, this is my favorite music cue in the entire movie. I'm gonna turn it up. Right? Right? There.
Yeah.
I freaking love that.
A little synth.
Yes, I love
The
that.
synths had just been made.
I know. It doesn't sound synthy though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And
It's just creepy.
Especially in Halloween 2, the soundtrack is very synthy and it just sounds very 80s. But this was late 70s, so they were just now playing around with synth stuff.
I personally like the piano stuff more. It just gives it a more natural feel.
Mm-hmm. In Halloween 2, it's very have you seen Halloween 2?
No, I haven't.
Really? Dude, where are we even watching?
It's so creepy when
Just
you
watch
realize
Halloween
that
2.
he's wearing that clown costume. You just see the arm and it's all billowy.
He's so tall
And
for
you're
a young little boy.
You're like, what is he wearing?
Did you ever notice that? He's his height is
No, man, that's totally
a
realistic.
6 foot tall.
That's-
He's supposed to be like a 6-year-old boy, isn't he?
He's supposed to be. Look
I've
at
never
that
noticed
creepy
that.
chair. That's a creepy chair.
It's a creepy little house.
It is.
Kind of old. Anyway, me and my friends tried to remake this movie, and I think we got as far as the next scene with him running away from the psychiatric ward.
Just shot
Are we
for
supposed
shot.
to think that they had sex?
That was quick, man.
Is that? I don't think that's what we think. Or that's what is supposed to have happened.
Maybe her
That's
parents are coming
too
out or
fast.
something.
That was so fast.
Oh.
I couldn't have done it that fast, could they?
Well,
Those stairs are really steep.
who did you use for stairs when you made this shot?
We didn't. We used my house, and what I did was I recreated this shot by just starting in my alley and then going through my backyard and then going up into my house, and then I went back to my old bedroom and stabbed my mom.
Yeah. She went along with it?
Yes, she did.
What a mom.
I know.
She's
She
great.
was adorable. And
look at that arm.
I know,
It's so creepy.
Yeah, it really is. And that mask is pretty creepy
they
too.
had sex. Or they got
I
naked.
guess they did. Well, I mean, she's naked now.
I mean, what else about this is realistic so far?
It's true.
Dude.
When I was younger, I
Comb
never
my hair,
noticed.
lift my boobs out.
I think. Well, when I first saw this, it was on a crappy VHS. So I don't think I saw the boob piece. I think the VHS was too crappy. I'm surprised I got this movie off of YouTube. I mean, I bought this movie and that's what we're watching it on.
Let me watch my hand while I'm stabbing.
I know, that's like such a great shot.
Man. Why is it just now showing it through those eyeballs?
Because he just put the mask on. He picked up the mask off the floor.
Oh, okay.
Dude, watch the movie. Pay attention.
Sorry.
Anyway,
I wanted to review Night of the Living Dead. That's what I know more about. I like this movie too, though.
It's good because I can explain some things to you.
No good. I'll be like,
Michael?
oh, that's a good shot.
Yeah. Look how big that knife is.
Yeah.
Who has a knife that big?
Really?
I like the mom.
Starting right now.
I love that the parents are just like, huh, wonder what happened.
They're not even saying anything. They're just in shock.
I guess they're in shock, but they don't even look that in shock. They just kind of look like, oh, we're supposed to stand here for this shot.
Yeah. Starting like right now, I think the craft, like how the shots are, they look a lot more professional than.
Oh, this is the extended edition.
Oh, good.
This scene wasn't in the original.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to it because I haven't seen this in so long.
Yeah. I've only
just
seen
on
it like
TV.
once or twice.
Yeah, this is like the TV version. Which they did this. They went back and shot these scenes just for the TV version.
Really?
Yeah, because it had to be a certain length
Huh.
with commercials to be on TV. So this is like,
Didn't they have to cut some stuff on TV too?
yeah, that's the thing that they had to cut. They had to like cut some stuff out because
So they had to make up for
so
it.
they had to make up for it. Yeah, it would have been too short, I guess.
Has his fedora off and.
So this is like the early '80s.
Wow.
So we just jumped from 1978 to probably
Wow, that's
1984.
crazy. Can you tell a difference in the appearance of the doctor? I never really watched.
I can't tell. It's too far away. It looks like his goatee has died.
Huh.
It looks like they dyed his goatee because it doesn't look that dark, and it's bushier, I think, than in the actual movie.
Well,
This scene really doesn't.
it's not really that important.
No, and it kind of
I don't remember what's
You
he
know-
basically saying here.
basically Michael Myers is dangerous.
We need to get him locked up, and they're like, no.
He's like, I think you should lock him away forever. No,
He's probably fine.
I've spent 4 hours a day.
He's great. I'll be
4
right back.
hours a day with this
I want to
boy.
watch this scene while you're getting coffee.
Every day. For 6 months. Far longer than any court psychiatrist.
Dr. Loomis.
Michael Myers is the most dangerous patient I have ever observed.
Doctor, there is no diagnostic evidence to support that statement.
He's covering up. This catatonia is a conscious act. There's an instinctive force within him. He's waiting.
For what?
I don't know.
We can make a special recommendation to the court only if we feel there is a justifiable reason to change the patient's treatment. I can see no reason why he shouldn't
Okay.
remain
I'll do
here.
it.
We have adequate facilities for his care.
2 spoons, please.
The There is insufficient security here. Please, I am begging you to reconsider your decision.
Dr. Loomis, perhaps you should reconsider keeping him as your patient. We can find someone else to look after him.
I'll stay with him.
Now, is there anything else you wish to say, Dr. Loomis?
Dr. Loomis, I know that you're right, and you're probably going to be the hero of this film, but we're just going to dismiss you as a madman until the appropriate things happen. Frickin' hot.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. Yeah, the scene doesn't really add a whole lot, but it's interesting that this is in here because the remake of this movie is like mostly this. Mostly this stuff.
Rob Zombie?
Yes. Have you seen it?
I saw, yeah, I think so.
Oh,
I remember it being
so
all
bad.
like boobs and fight.
Violence, yeah.
I watched it with a big group of people. Or I watched the Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie with a big group of people, and it was kind of
man. Halloween 2 was the remake was so bad.
I'm sure Rob Zombie's a nice guy, but I haven't really seen anything of his that I was crazy about.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that he wanted to do with it was to flesh it out and make it more. I guess he wanted to make it more hardcore and like
Yeah.
dangerous, or what he thinks is dangerous, and that's just like not what this movie's strength is at all. This movie's strength is just the quiet.
The minimalism.
Yeah. The minimalism.
There's so much minimalism in this movie. Like even this scene, like you don't see. I mean, you got like the wall, and then the kid, and then the doctor, and that's about it. And the music is so
in the corner.
the music is so minimalist. It gives it a really creepy, kind of empty feel.
Yeah.
And when you throw too much fast-paced action into it, it kind of ruins the sort of dark psychological thrill.
Yep.
Is it the same kid as in the shot earlier?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
If it is, it's him older.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're back into the theatrical version.
Finally.
And you can tell
It's in a different city, though. They move?
Smith Grove. This is, yeah, I don't know.
It was in Haddonfield at first.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, this is where the sanitarium is.
Mm.
It's so dark.
You can tell that it changes,
Yeah.
I think.
Because production value goes down
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's so dark. It's so dark, but I really like it because you can't see anything, and when you
It's really
there's
creepy
a shot
here in a
where
minute.
there's a shot that it comes up where you just see the patients outside, and it's so creepy.
And the
Let me try to
headlights
lighten up a little bit.
illuminate them.
You ever done anything like this before?
Okay, so I gotta tell this funny story. So we did this scene too, me and my friends, and there was a girl that was friends with us that played the nurse part, and I was gonna play Michael Myers and the Dr. Loomis character. And we tried to like update it so that it made sense that I was younger and I was Dr. Loomis, and we like put gray in my hair to make me look older, and I'm like wearing glasses.
Did it work?
No. And it's all, the way my camera worked is that the only way we could shoot outside at night is if the night vision was on. So that scene is completely in night vision.
Yes.
And it just looks like, when we looked at it later, first of all, you can hardly hear what we're saying, and we're not driving because we couldn't drive. I don't think I could drive at that point. So I was thinking I was like 15. And
Sorry, Zane.
you couldn't hear what we were saying. And the dialogue that they're saying here, if you just take away the context of it, it sounds like a porno. Because I was like, have you ever done anything like this before? She's like, only minimum security. I was like, don't underestimate it. She says, don't you think we could refer to it as him? I'm like, if you say so. And we were being super... What I love about this scene is Donald Pleasence does really well in this scene is he plays it very straight. He plays it very calm and very underdramatic. I know he's a bit really dramatic, but That's the creepy
that's a
shot.
great-
Oh
that's a
man.
great shot.
Since when did they let them wander around?
Pull up to the main gate.
Shouldn't we
I
go
definitely
on?
see more salt and pepper in his good tea. I think it will diet.
For this movie, Donald Pleasance at this point was, a really refined actor, and
Shouldn't we go
had
on to
a
the
really
hospital
vast
and
career.
wait?
I think he was like in this. I think he was on the bridge on the River Kwai or something like that. Some really famous movie, and I'm kind of embarrassed for not knowing that. But very distinguished actor, and they only had him for 4 days during this movie because they could only afford him for 4 days. And this movie had no money.
But it made tons. Everybody wanted to copy it. There's a story about Sean S. Cunningham calling up Victor Miller, I think, and for Friday the 13th. And he said, basically,
Halloween's a big hit. How can we rip it off?
yeah,
Let's rip it off.
Halloween's making a lot of money. Let's rip it off. So that started Friday the 13th.
You can see the rock in his hand right there if you look closely enough.
Really?
That they used to break it. Because that's a real window. And they just taped a big old rock on his hand
Yeah.
so he could break it in his hand.
They should have just, had him holding a rock. Because, realistically, you can break a window with a hand.
I like to think that.
You're all right.
Oh, wait, this is a great line.
He's gone. He's gone from here. The evil is gone.
The evil is gone!
He's so over.
Yeah, but it's
melodramatic.
so great because it just. His over melodramaticness just.
It's like
It makes this character. It makes
Yeah.
Michael Myers.
Yeah, it complements Michael Myers.
Scary.
It's like he's the only one in this whole world that understands him
Yeah.
and knows to fear him, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
he's-
nobody listens, of course.
He makes this character. He
Yeah,
builds him up in our minds while we're watching the movie, and just that. And I think
He's the soothsayer.
the music and the cinematography really adds to it.
Just these shots of these streets in the fall are just...
Yeah.
The prettiness of this nice neighborhood really is like a stark contrast to the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
The evil that is now gone, apparently. These nice homogeneous
And how
houses.
and how still the shots are and how slow everything moves. It feels focused.
Yeah. I've always thought she looked older than a high school student.
Yeah, she probably was.
She looks like she should be a teacher.
Yeah. Well, it's the kind of dorky 70s clothing.
Yeah.
Makes her look like a grandma, almost.
I think she just kind of has like an old woman face. Like she doesn't look natural being
Yeah.
young. She only looks natural being old to me.
Yeah. She said it in an interview that she doesn't look back and be like, oh, look how pretty I was. She looks back and thinks like, oh my God, my face was so thin. She thinks that she said,
She's prettier
She was-
as she's old or
Yeah.
older.
yeah, or at least she was when she was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
She thought she looked better when she was 40. She was
I agree.
20 probably.
Look at that 70s hair.
Oh
That's
God,
great.
this is one thing. I hate this kid. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it now. God bless him. The man.
I don't really.
I mean, he plays it well because kids can be very annoying, and he plays this annoying kid part well.
Is he the kid that she babysits later?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
He's fine. I like to think that the evil spirit that is within Michael Myers or whatever is driving him is what taught him how to drive a car. Because how else did he learn?
He drives? Michael
Yeah,
Myers?
he drove away. Remember in that car? Just a minute ago.
Oh, yeah.
Hollywood tree. That tree that just passed in front of the frame is a, what do you call those things? Coconut trees? No?
Palm trees?
Palm trees. That was a palm tree.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I didn't know there were palm trees in Illinois.
Watch.
Totally. It's one of their big markets, actually. One of their big exports.
I don't think there really is a Haddonfield, Illinois. There should be. That's kind of
Back
that's
to his
kind of,
house.
it's kind of a cheap scare.
Yeah.
Jump scares, but at least it's real. This is not like a cat.
I gotta go.
I mean,
See you tonight.
this was at a time when cheap scares weren't as common.
But see, that was something to make the audience jump, and I think this is something to just ooh.
Creep him out. Because there was no music there.
Yeah.
I love that choice to not have
Yeah.
a bum music
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
just to have it move into the shot
Yeah.
quietly. Oh, that's good. That's good.
And he's not wearing
he's
a
just
mask there.
watching as she's walking.
Yeah, he's
by.
not wearing a mask there, so if she turned around, she would have seen it without his face.
Why isn't he wearing his mask? Does it?
He hasn't gotten it yet. He's gonna get it later. Oh, this is more bonus crap, I think. Yep, this is
Yeah.
more bonus
Who's
crap.
watching it?
I don't know.
Nice.
You don't know? What do you mean? You don't know?
It was supposed to be Bernard.
Supposed to be?
Well, he wasn't here at 10. I don't know what happened.
I wonder if
What was
anybody's
he?
actually gonna watch
Well,
this.
The naughty.
I like to
Sure.
think that they are.
I'm gonna put it on my YouTube page. Oh crap.
he must have broken the window with his hands. He came down the hall, breaking through all the doors, pushing all of the patients outside.
What was it you wanted to show me?
I kind of like that they explain that.
Oh, they gave away the thing though.
Yeah.
Dr. Loomis, have they found him yet?
No. But I know where he's going.
See that? They didn't make this. They didn't shoot this crap until after
Dr.
Halloween
Wynn
2.
is waiting to
Yeah.
see you, Doctor.
Because it wasn't until Halloween 2 that John Carpenter decided to make Laurie Strode the sister. This is the
I told
original.
him how dangerous he was.
They don't even reveal that at the end of this movie, so that's pretty pointless.
Your patient,
Yeah.
doctor, and precautions weren't strong enough. You should have told
That's
somebody.
kind of weird.
everybody. Nobody listened. There's nothing else I can do. You can get back in there and get back on that telephone and tell him exactly who walked out of here last night and tell him exactly where he's going.
It's kind of
Where
funny.
are we going?
In Halloween 4,
Sam
this
Hatfield,
kind of stuff
150
happens
miles away
the
from
same
here.
way.
Now, for God's sakes, he
When
can't drive
Michael
the car.
Myers
He was
escapes
doing
from the
very well
hospital,
last night. Maybe someone
and
around here gave him a
he's
lesson.
like, Sam Loomis is pissed off because he's like, "What happened? I told you not to take it out of here." And they're like, "We're sorry. We thought he was catatonic. We're sorry. We didn't know." Like he's probably.
Did you see the first 3 movies?
He's probably just in a field somewhere. We'll find him.
Did you,
And Donald Pleasant's like, or Donald Pleasance. Donald Pleasance is like, "You're all stupid. I have to go kill him myself."
Did you notice that Dr. Loomis was parked in the handicap spot?
No.
Yeah, he was.
That's funny.
No matter what
She looks so much older than everyone else.
No.
She looks like one of those like people that comes in from the state to watch your classes.
She does. She is pretty. She is pretty in this movie. I don't think she's.
She's not ugly. I just think she looks more natural in 20 years. She needs some wrinkles.
So how'd you feel about Halloween H2O?
I liked H2O.
I did too.
I like Josh Hartnett.
Really?
He's a sexy man.
No,
No, from what I remember, I mean, I've only watched it once. It was like 3 years ago, but I liked
Yeah.
it.
Whereas Sam
I haven't.
felt that
I remember a decapitation.
Yeah, I
nuclear,
really liked
fire, and water.
the ending.
That's right.
I really hated
Samuel's
that they decided
definitely
to
personified
make a
fate.
sequel where they
In
were like,
Samuel's
"Oh, it didn't
writing,
happen."
fate is immovable, like a mountain. It stands where man moves away. Fate
They used I liked H2O because they used a lot of the same tricks. So I guess it's kind of like, it's not as good because it's a lot of the same tricks, but they update it a little bit more, make it a little bit scarier, more of a bloody body count, but they do a lot of the same.
Look at these people to the left. Look how they're dressed.
It's Halloween though.
Oh yeah,
They're
that's
wearing
right.
their Halloween costumes. It's cool.
That's right. I didn't realize it was Halloween night.
Did you ever do that in kindergarten class?
Take your costume
Yeah,
to school.
wear your
No, I
costume to school.
didn't.
We did that.
Why are you taking a pumpkin to school?
Cause these kids are douchebags.
That doesn't explain why she has a pumpkin.
These kids are such little douchebags.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Why are they picking it? Oh my gosh, okay.
Pretty
So,
cool.
funniest.
Oh no.
Funniest. This is like doubly funnier than this scene. In Halloween 4, you see his mask right there for just a second, and it's so scary.
But he doesn't have his mask yet.
Yeah, I know, but it's there. I've paused it.
Darn.
Yeah, it doesn't really fit within the continuity, but
Continuity error.
oh well.
Who gives a crap about continuity in movies like this? The director did, obviously. Big JC.
It's funny when you
Started walking a lot faster.
It's
there.
funny when you like hear interviews with the directors after like several years after they've made the movie and everything, and they don't remember the details about the movie.
Yeah, they're like the most important movie of the decade.
I was so pissed listening to the commentary for Halloween 5 because
Dude, why is he in the back of the car?
he's not. That's just for the cameras. He's driving.
Well, it's been from his. Well, I guess not from his POV technically, but that's misleading.
Yeah, a little bit.
How do you get a cop car? Oh yeah.
It always been. Anyway, I was so pissed off listening to the commentary for Halloween 5 because it was by the girl that plays Jamie and in the movie and her like co-star, and they're talking about the movie and they're like, what happened to Michael in that movie? I think he got burned or something like that. It's just like completely not
Like,
true.
they
Just
didn't
like
know.
they, and I was like, no, he got stabbed in that one.
It's like fan commentaries are the best.
Yeah, that's true. Like
Even
this
though
one.
like this one, I'm kind of playing the role of like probably the people that are watching this right now have only seen the movie like 3 or 4 times, but know of the impact.
I've seen this movie so
I'm
many
his doctor.
freaking
You must
times.
be
I
ready.
take that back. I've probably seen it around 10 times.
If you don't, it's your funeral.
I've probably seen.
But I haven't
this-
watched like as many like documentaries and commentaries or anything. I don't own the movie, unfortunately.
I've probably seen this. This was like one of the first DVDs I ever bought, so I've probably seen this 50 times. Goodness. I like that the train goes by, right?
Yeah.
Right, it's just doing this.
Yeah. I wonder if they like scheduled that.
I don't know. It's a good
That shot.
question.
It is a good question. John Carpenter, we know you're watching this right now.
I wish you'd answer that
You
question.
don't really have anything better going on. I mean,
You didn't answer that question in the commentary.
I saw what was that new movie? The Ward. I saw The Ward. John Carpenter and man,
Didn't like it? I haven't seen it.
it wasn't good.
This guy's napping. Look at the blood. Little bit of blood.
Look at that mustache.
A little bit of blood with no mustache. It's like the only blood in the movie.
I think as far as John Carpenter goes, it's number 1 is Halloween for me. 2 is The Thing, and 3 is They Live.
Mm.
It's good
I didn't
stuff.
finish They Live.
You didn't like it?
No, I didn't finish it.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. It was like really late at night and I didn't finish
It
it.
gets a little slow, but
Yeah, the middle was kind of dragging a little bit.
But, maybe one day we should do a commentary for The Thing.
Totally. Do you remember
Wait,
how
if
many-
there's not a real Haddonfield, Illinois, they would have to make that sign. I'm gonna.
Well, the name Haddonfield comes from Deborah Hill's hometown of Haddonfield, New Jersey.
We did. 15 minutes.
Which her and she's the producer of this movie, I believe, and co-writer.
Yeah.
And her and John Carpenter were dating at the time. It's actually kind of a little romantic story. Yeah, they were. It was right before they started making this movie, and they he like drove up to see her and knocked on her door one day and said, "I can't get you out of my mind."
That's funny because I really can't picture John being that much of a Casanova.
I know, right?
He's such a
I forgot my
such a
chemistry.
hardcore man.
I know.
He's always
His mustache and
always-
his things about death.
Yeah. He's always
Talking about death.
smoking. Always got a cigarette. I was watching like a sort of like documentary about influential horror directors, and he was in it. Everyone else was talking about, oh yeah, like and being all cheerful and talking about their movies, and then it was a shot of John Carpenter walking around in a cemetery smoking a cigarette.
That's awesome.
With like a long black leather jacket. It's pretty great.
I like this because the other two girls, are so nonchalantly yelling and kind of treating
Stupid.
it, being stupid. And Jamie Lee Curtis knows. She just
Yeah.
knows. And they kind of, they explain in the commentaries and everything that, it's not because she's just because she's a virgin or whatever that
Right.
she knows these things, but it's because she doesn't have a boyfriend and she's the one who's smarter and pays more attention,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And the other girls are too concerned with their own
She's not
stupid
blind,
little
but,
lives.
How prevalent do you think the virgin archetype was in horror until this point?
I mean, probably not at all.
Yeah.
I don't think
You
really.
think this is kind of the
No,
the
because-
milestone that
Yeah, I think it was. Before this, you just had like Psycho.
Yeah.
It was like the only movie with a killer with a knife. And
This was definitely a turning point. And then
well, I think
this
you
sparked
had. I think Black Christmas was out before this one. I can't remember. Yeah, Black Christmas came out in like
I don't
70s.
I don't remember a virgin archetype.
No, not really.
I remember the mom.
The whole
and stuff,
virgin
all that.
archetype thing is. It really is a stereotype that is just built up in people's minds. This looks like a
Really?
completely different neighborhood. I've always thought that. That
Yeah.
shot always bothered me. Because they went from a neighborhood with a whole bunch of trees,
Yeah.
and now this looks like it's just completely
Well, it
different
could, it
neighborhood.
very well could be.
Oh, I really think it is.
Yeah. But the sidewalks look similar.
No, yet. Have to get out and take
It's
it
just a
from
different
brother.
part.
Treats for Bob. Funny.
Josh just texted me about the thing.
What thing?
The thing in his
Oh.
book.
What did he say?
I told him I had it, and he said, "Really? Or are you just quoting a thing from a song?" I freaking love that shot.
What? Which one?
Ah, right there.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, so good. And it's just far enough to where the mask is out of focus, so you can't really see it. And if you're watching this for the first time, you're just kind of like, "What is wrong with his face?" It's like he's wearing a mask. What is that?
If you don't already know that.
Yeah, I was
he
about to
has a
say.
mask.
If you haven't already figured out what Michael Myers looks like just from pop culture.
Hey, creep.
I like to imagine like how aware Michael is of like I don't know how he would be perceived, because if you look in that last shot, he was pretty far out of the bushes. Does he realize that if they see him, they'll freak out? You know, because he's been so cut off from society, sort of.
And how conscious is he that he is
scared?
He's messing with these girls.
Yeah.
He's creeping them out, and you know he's planning
What's
what he's
going
going
on
to
in
do.
his mind
Yeah,
is the
he's
great
planning.
question.
He's planning what he's going to do to them. Well, I have a theory
Is he
that
planning, do you think?
I think yes, on some part, yeah.
Because he's restraining himself right now.
Yeah, because I think that my theory on Michael Myers, because Michael Myers is really the more mysterious
Oh, definitely.
of the killers. He doesn't have a motive,
Yeah.
and I think what really is driving him is an evil force. Like
Yeah. Well, that's what John Carpenter says.
Yeah, essentially, whatever you want to call it, satanic or whatever.
I didn't mean to startle you.
John Carpenter just calls it the evil
Yeah.
You know,
of
it's
the world
Halloween. I guess
that
everyone's
exists in the
entitled to
world
one good
has
scare.
somehow manifested itself in Michael Myers and is driving him. So I think he is very conscious of what he's doing. They don't really do that in the sequels. In the
Yeah.
sequels, they
Show more of his character.
well, no, they just. I feel like in the sequels they play him more as a mindless killing machine.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah, as kind of being dumber. I think.
Well,
He
some later
doesn't-
ones, like I'm not quite sure, but I think it's 5, where he sort of adopts. I mean, he doesn't technically adopt her, but like a little girl that he kind of befriends, but he kind of is that.
No.
Well, you see some sympathy toward her for a
Well,
second. It
yeah.
doesn't last.
Okay, and in 4 and 5, he is stalking Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter. Her daughter that she's like left, and he stalks her like he's trying to kill her because she's like the last of the Jamie Lee Curtis's bloodline or whatever. It's his niece, and there's moments in 5. I don't think there's one in 4, but oh, this is great. And then
That's a good shot.
and then he's gone.
Like a spirit.
Yeah. And okay, anyway, so in 5, there's like this moment where she calls him uncle, and he has like a moment where he takes off his mask and she like tries to reach out to him, and he has a second. And then he immediately shakes
tear.
out of it. I don't know. I can't remember. I think you do
I
actually.
think you see a tear.
I just watched that recently, and I can't really remember. But I think you're
But
right.
you see like a sense of that he's not all evil. which
Yeah.
I don't really know how I feel about.
No, I don't like that at all.
Who is this?
I think should be evil incarnate, and yeah, they play more to his character, and I think in some cases, especially in 6. In 6, they they also in 6 they lay out this whole mythology that they completely dump in 7. They completely ignore it like that never happened. In 6, they have this whole mythology that he's being controlled by a devil worshipping cult. That he's their tool to extract, I don't know, evil.
See,
upon
I
people
like
or
the
something.
mysteriousness of it. I don't like
Yeah.
to tamper with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess it's his thing. So.
Well, John Carpenter didn't write 6.
Well, I mean, I guess it's their thing.
The sequel people.
Uh,
Mustafa Akkad, who kept these movies going.
But coming back to what happens in the original movie, I've always heard John Carpenter say that in horror there are 2 kinds of, or I guess in generally, there are two kinds of stories you can tell. When everybody's sitting around the campfire and the voodoo man or the storyteller says, you can either have the evil is out there in the woods, it's like the monster that's coming to get us, it's outside of us, or the other kind of story is that the evil is within us and it's coming from us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in a way this is kind of both. Yeah.
I think it's more the evil is within us. I think that's interesting that John Carpenter said that because I think this is the evil is with us and the thing is the evil is out there.
I see it as the opposite, actually.
Yeah, now that I actually think about it. I think
because the thing...
the thing is looks like one of us.
You don't know where it is. It could be within us.
That's interesting.
And it is within us. And then in here, I mean, the evil is outside in the form of Michael Myers, but he's like one of us. He was like this child of this family that...
Yeah. This is all bonus crap, by the way, too. This wasn't in the original movie.
Not to get too
Look how much
far.
older this actress is, too.
Yeah, she looks like 30.
Jamie Lee
I wonder
Curtis
if that's
is
why they
definitely
did
older.
like the back. Like
That's probably why Jamie Lee Curtis's hair isn't a thing.
And her hair is like back to make it look more like girly, I guess. Young girlish.
This is like, this is definitely like 8 years later. I'm glad this wasn't in the theatrical because it's kind of drawing things out because this movie really gets going when the sun goes down.
Yeah.
Who takes a shower right after school? Before you go to babysit.
German
It's like, oh, I got really dirty at school. I need to wash up before I go babysit.
Maury, I have to ask a big favor. I can't
I
find
love how she's laying right there.
You promised.
This is how I always call my girlfriend.
Hi, Linda's here. She wants
See
to
it
borrow my
again.
new
Hold on.
I'm wearing a pink robe. What are you wearing?
Oh yeah.
I'm wearing a yellow sweater vest
I kind of
and
like.
blue slacks.
Follow Linda over here.
So,
Well, if you see
who's
him, just
the
go right up
prettiest
to him and tell
girl
him to
of this
buzz
group?
off. Or if he's cute,
I think
ask him out.
probably she is, but that's probably not saying
gotta
all
go.
of us.
You can pick
Yeah.
me up.
Right after school. Hey, how about that?
Not that many
No,
really
no
gorgeous
offense to these
girls.
girls. No offense to these girls. You know,
Bye,
not
creep.
my cup of tea. No, that's my cup of tea.
I don't really like 70s hair that much. I kind of
It's
like.
so big. So big.
Yeah. Well, I kind of like 80s hair sometimes.
The big hair.
In my closet.
Sometimes. Some people can make it work.
Promise me you
maybe.
won't rip it.
I totally
Molly Ringwald isn't bad.
Totally.
Do you think Molly Ringwald's attractive?
I think she's pretty.
I never found her that attractive. But I don't like gingers.
I do. Like,
You and Wesley would get along great.
we were watching Cabin in the Woods earlier, and that redhead.
Yes, we were.
She's
Yeah, okay, well that's
she's really pretty.
she didn't look like a real redhead though.
I also think Emma Stone is very attractive.
Emma, if you're out there and you're listening, Garrett is single.
I am single as of a month ago. I'm pretty lonely right
Dude,
now.
you didn't have to put that in there. That drops your attractiveness factor down.
Well, let me build it back up by saying
My grandma
I
has
have an
that
accordion.
I think my grandma has that chair.
That one right
I do
there.
have an accordion.
That floral one.
Now we're
Got a
back.
pumpkin.
1978. According to Jamie Lee Curtis, all of the leaves that are blowing into the frame right now are all like a whole bunch of people behind the camera throwing
Nice.
throwing leaves
Nice.
over the camera
I
because they
love
shot
that.
this. They shot this in the summer, I think.
Yeah.
And there were
It's
no
supposed to
leaves.
look like fall.
There were no leaves. Yeah,
Look how there's no leaves on
I
that
know,
side.
there's no leaves down the street. There's just like right by where the character is supposed to be. There's probably a giant fan behind the boy.
I really like this neighborhood. Like I like the sidewalks.
Yeah.
And
I would when I was younger, I would like look around my neighborhood and look for streets and houses that looked like Haddonfield. That looked like look how green that is. That is so
Yeah.
summer.
And then another,
It's so green. It's California.
it's like it changes season. Like her side of the street is fall. And then
Yeah.
it's-
This is
I like that in this nice neighborhood. It's like something you never would expect this horror to happen, and that's kind of going back to like the evil is within us type thing.
Yeah.
Within this nice little suburb. Look at that red interior.
Just have time.
Uh-oh.
Let's smoke
Smoking
some
weed.
weed.
See, she smokes weed in this film, and she's the hero. She doesn't die.
The heroine.
So it's not. They're definitely not saying that if you smoke drugs, you will die. Because I mean, my mom smoked weed in the 70s. My mom is the nicest one in the world. So that's sad.
You know, every town has something like this happen.
Super nice neighbors.
I remember over in Russellville, old Charlie
My
Bob-
nana.
Do you have a kid that he says Russellville? Russellville?
One night he finished dinner.
He said he's talking about
He
something
excused
horrible that happened in
himself from
another
the
town.
table,
He's like, over in Russellville.
went out to the garage.
Something happened. It was bad.
He got himself a hacksaw.
In Arkansas.
Yeah.
And then he
He's
went
like,
back to the
"Biz
house.
off."
I love this low
He
hanging
kissed
tree
his wife
here.
and his two children goodbye.
Coming
And
over the
then he
grave. It's
proceeded.
creepy.
I wonder where they shot this. 'Cause this doesn't look very
This looks like
California.
Louisiana.
Right over here.
Yeah, it doesn't look very California-ish.
Yeah, Myers, Judith Myers. I remember.
But I'm pretty sure
California?
they shot everything. Yeah, they shot this whole movie in California.
Oh.
That's why the palm trees and everything's
Why do they
green.
do it?
It's supposed to be fall in Illinois.
They'd do anything for
Who took the
Halloween.
gravestone?
Michael Myers.
Oh, I know.
I told you this
19.
builds or supports my theory of him planning things out
Mm-hmm.
because you'll see later.
Whose gravestone is it?
Came home.
Judith Myers, his sister.
Okay. The whole psychology of Michael Myers is
I wasn't spooked.
interesting.
Lie. I
Kind of
wasn't.
confusing.
Saw
Yeah.
somebody standing in Mr. Riddle's backyard. Probably Mr. Riddle.
Because he's conscious of who
Mr.
he's
Riddle
killed
was watching
before.
Yeah.
you, Lori. Mr. Riddle is 87.
He's not just some raving,
He can drive.
raving like insane.
Yeah.
I mean, he is insane. He's a psychopath, but he's not stupid.
Carving a jack-o'-lantern would keep him occupied. I always said you'd make a fabulous Girl Scout. Thanks.
I was just thinking about the evil force inside him telling him how to drive.
Now put your left foot on the gas. Slowly, slowly, slowly.
Yes.
Shift gears.
Do we ever hear Michael talk?
Never.
That's good. I'm glad they never broke that
You
rule.
do see his face
My
in
dad.
this one
Get rid of this.
and a little
You
bit
see it in this
5.
one?
Yeah,
When?
and in 5, you'll listen.
Nope. I've already seen it.
At the end. I don't want to ruin it for people who are watching this movie for the first time with this
Yeah,
commentary.
'cause I'm sure they're watching the fan commentary on the extended edition.
Hi kids, I'm the local cop.
Hi, Dad.
I'm also her
What
dad.
happened?
What?
What happened?
Oh, somebody broke into the hardware store. Probably
Sweet
kids.
70s sideburn.
You blame everything on kids.
Well, now all they took was some Halloween mask, a rope, and a couple of knives. Who do you think?
Still recording.
Hard growing up
Well,
with this
how creepy.
What?
All they took were some
Yeah.
Halloween masks, some rope, and a couple of knives.
I
No
know,
big deal.
it's like a Halloween. Oh yeah, the kids did this. It's a prank. All they took was the rope and the torture devices and the arsenic
and masks.
masks and
And the atomic bombs.
and they left this plan to rape and kill everyone in town. Haddonfield looks very large right here.
Pardon me, I'm.
This is his main street.
Continuity, continuity.
I'd like to have a word with you if I could.
Well, maybe a few minutes.
Man, they-
It takes
Just important.
They must have
10 minutes.
used every second of Donald Pleasance's 4 days that he had on these
He must have
this
been
film.
exhausted.
Because he's the star of this movie.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis. You notice it's Michael behind him?
Yeah.
It's so great.
Huh. I've never noticed that
Turns.
before.
What's the matter with you? I think he knew. I'm sure he could smell
This
it.
is Jamie Lee
What do you-
Curtis's guilt over them, over
See
her
what's on his
smoking weed.
face?
What do you
always
think?
looks like
How do you think the
that.
movie would be different if they had been caught smoking weed? None of this would have
That's
happened.
it. You're not going out tonight. You're staying in
You're
safely.
coming, yeah. We're escorting you to the local jail where you'll spend the night, safe and sound, and locked jail
You know, you
cell.
could ask somebody.
The end.
Sure you could. All you have to do is go up to somebody and say,
Oh.
want to go to the dance? You could do
I
that.
don't know if you remember, but in the Rob Zombie
She's so
remake,
self-effacing.
I know. In the Rob Zombie remake, he made Laurie Strode definitely not this same character. He made her a lot more outgoing and kind of poppy, blah blah blah.
See, you do
I
think
don't
about
remember.
things like
And
that.
Halloween
huh,
2
Lori?
just made her annoying.
Shut up. He's cute.
She's all tortured because of the events in the first film, and she's like, ah!
I think actually when the first Halloween remake came out, I was just too kind of pissed off to watch it.
I saw it in theaters because I had to. I was just so upset about it. I've never seen this before. The
that's
the
weird.
water flows to the middle of the street. It's essentially the gutter is in the middle of the street. I've never seen that before. Never been to California though.
I think this was one of the first horror movies I ever watched. I remember thinking it was the bee's knees.
Yeah.
Which I still do. I just remember thinking that as a kid.
Yeah. There's a really cool bonus feature, like a behind the scenes thing, where the guy that played the kid in this movie, the little boy, revisits the neighborhood. Whenever he puts over. I think they've painted like the houses like different colors. Like they're all like kind of ghostly white here, and it's kind of creepy. And
Yeah.
I think now they've repainted them yellow and different colors.
What if you lived in this neighborhood now? Like,
oh, this is a good opportunity to talk about the guy that played Michael Myers in this movie. Do you know anything about him?
no.
His name was Nick Castle, and he was, I think he was just like a local, he was like an actor and a friend of John Carpenter's. And he went on to direct Major Payne.
Wow.
A couple other movies, I think.
Wow.
But apparently his dad was a dancer, and he had some kind of training in that, and something about the way he walks just was different than everything than anyone else they could get to play the character, and
The way he stood.
it definitely shows. His just so obviously, it just stands out in this movie like nothing else. It's the way he walks. I think in H2O they got it close-ish. Like
It's the way he carries
back to the
himself.
moment, yeah. He just kind of,
Does anybody live
the way he
here?
steps is
That's
just kind of
psychotic
ghostly.
about it.
Yeah, it's kind of ghostly.
Every kid in Haddonfield thinks this place is haunted.
In,
It's like he's so blank.
and I can tell you in all the movies the way they walk differently, because they just get a different actor in every film, and they all look different. It's so weird that Michael Myers, they never got a consistent looking body figure.
Yeah. Well,
In part 2,
I mean-
he's a little bit taller and thinner,
What is that?
and he walks extremely slow.
It's
He
sort of the
walks-
same for. I mean, it's the same for Jason.
Yeah,
Jason
yeah.
Voorhees.
They do that too.
It's still warm.
Couple-
They're finding
and
a dog
for,
here.
For Leatherface, definitely.
Yeah, they're finding a dog here.
Yeah.
Could have been a skunk.
Do they show the dog?
No, they don't show it.
Dang.
They just say it's been.
Wouldn't do that.
That's how you know
he ate
he's-
it.
That's how you know he's pure evil.
Yeah, he ate it,
Killed a dog.
and he ate it
Yeah, and he ate it.
because he says it's a great line. Donald Pleasant says he got hungry.
That's
It's like,
great.
good God, I mean, it's so great.
And is that his old dog? Since this is his house,
I don't think so,
just maybe like a stray.
because this house is supposed to be like abandoned.
Maybe it's like a stray. That was in
Yeah.
there.
He's just, and the fact that they don't show it, and he just says he got hungry.
Yeah.
It's what you don't see. It just
They probably
drives,
did that because of budgeting, but I
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. I like that
It
they
just-
did.
It just drives the creeping factor of. It's the horrible things that you don't see about this character. You're just, all you are seeing is him walking around and watching people,
Yeah.
but you know this information that this man knows that he is pure evil and that he's eating a dog.
This movie really skimps out on like the gore and there's no gore, hardly any blood.
Yeah.
But it's one of the creepiest and one of the darkest movies.
Yeah.
It's so great. I think horror has
This
kind of
bit-
lost that craft.
This bit's really good
Seems to
because
me you're
it
just plain
shows
scared.
Dr. Loomis is
Yeah, I
genuinely
am.
scared.
Yeah.
He's
He's genuinely concerned about all of humanity right now.
This is probably the
No reason.
most famous speech from the
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Conscience, no understanding, and even the most rudimentary sense of
Talks
life
about
or
how
death,
his black eyes.
good or evil, right.
His eyes were so dead. His eyes were so dead. What's that from?
6-year-old
Creepshow.
child, this
I still haven't seen that.
blank, pale,
I've seen the short after the
emotionless face,
cockroaches bit.
the blackest
That's
eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil.
What do we do?
We don't dare talk over that.
Once
Yeah.
tonight,
The writing
I think
is
he'll
really
know.
good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait for him.
I mean, sometimes
I
it's
still
kind of
think I
just
should
basic.
notify the
but-
It's definitely John Carpenter working out his
If you do that,
philosophical
they'll see him in every
feelings
street
of
corner,
evil
they'll
and
look in every
the
house.
world.
Just tell your
Yeah.
men to keep their
It down, be like,
mouths
oh,
shut
this is
and
gonna
their
be
eyes
good.
I wonder, you know,
See him in a typewriter with a cigarette.
I'll check back in an hour.
no, he's probably just saying, "This is okay.
Oh.
This is okay. I'll use it."
I forget the driving
you know-
force behind making this movie. I've kind of forgotten about it. I haven't seen a documentary on this in a long time, and I've kind of. They made this movie just to kind of, you know, to start up something it wasn't meant to be. You know, just like most horror movies that are made, it wasn't meant to be their dream project or whatever.
Sure.
It was just, it wasn't even meant to make money. It was just made.
These classics are usually unintentional.
Yeah, I know.
classics.
Laser Man,
It's crazy.
Neutron Man, I can understand why.
I mean,
I love
when
that
Sean S.
she-
Cunningham made Friday the 13th, he
Yeah.
was just trying to make a buck.
Yeah.
It's kind of an unromantic start, but
Yeah, I
you
know.
know. I'm sure Alfred Hitchcock didn't think he was making a classic when he made Psycho.
And that's why I think I prefer this one definitely to Friday the 13th, just because there's.
Having
I think
Oh, yeah,
there's a
for
little
sure.
bit more heart into it. There's a little bit more love into it.
It's more
I
masterful.
have big,
Mhm.
big
My opinion.
news for you.
It's darker,
Oops. Hold on a minute.
and it doesn't rely on gore like I feel Friday does.
Sorry by the family
I mean, I love Friday, but
I'm just gonna be honest. I always thought that the end of Friday the 13th, the reveal of the killer, is a bit out of left field, and it was probably just created as a device to you know, give some sort of thing as to who the killer was. I feel like they could have,
The only person in the world who
if
doesn't
going
like
back, if they had probably cared
So
a
what
little
is
bit
this
more
big,
about
big news?
the script for Friday the 13th, they
What would
probably
you
could
say
have
if I told you that
dropped
you were
more
going to the
hints of who the
homecoming
killer
dance
was,
tomorrow
or
night?
just gave some
Probably had the wrong
illusion to
number.
it,
yeah.
as opposed to it just being a
Well,
complete surprise at the end.
I
It's just kind of
just
like, oh,
been
okay.
to Tramer and
Yeah,
got
they could have
real
put
excited
more
when I
foreshadowing
told
into
you
it.
how
I like
attractive
that,
you were.
you know.
Yeah, yeah,
Richness Voorhees.
Yeah, yeah.
What I don't jive with is the huge plot hole of why Jason's alive, and they never really fully explain it.
Yeah, I mean, he's a
Not to
zombie.
dwell
He's-
on Friday the 13th
he's
too
a-
much here.
I
but,
guess he's a zombie. Oh man, it's so beautiful.
yeah. The setting. Here
Just
is
imagine if
perfect.
you were a kid and you saw that. You looked across the street and you saw that. Piss your pants.
Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I couldn't even face it.
I bet this scared the crap out of kids that lived in neighborhoods that looked just like this. You know, suburban kids. Yeah. Scared me.
Tommy, there's nobody outside. Go watch TV.
My favorite Halloween growing up was there was a Michael Myers mask at a store in Monroe, Louisiana, and it was $40. And when I was little and I had no money, and it was like really expensive.
Yeah.
And I like
Still
saved. I
expensive to
saved up.
me.
Yeah, it still kind of is, but you know, but I saved up for I saved up change for like months to be able to buy that mask, and I bought it.
Was it? I like this here that she just like gets naked and she
Yeah.
spills something on her shirt.
Yeah, really quickly.
And she's not
Lindsay,
wearing a bra because
and-
it's the 70s, obviously.
And did she really spill that much on her? Because she
Yeah.
just takes off all of her clothes. She takes off her pants.
Yeah.
I don't think she spilled that much butter on herself.
I wonder if it even registers to Michael that she's nude.
Yeah.
I mean that if that even affects him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably hasn't seen women.
Pardon me?
I was gonna say something, but I forgot what it was.
Anyway, I saved up and bought the mask and with Michael Myers for Halloween that year. It was so much fun. I scared so many freaking people
I was gonna ask, was that the
because
kind
I
of-
was in character all night long.
Was it the mask with the hair that comes out of it? Because I saw those.
It was one of the whiter ones. It was like one of the first. It wasn't. It didn't look like the original mask. It looked more like the Halloween
the
4
shot.
mask. Yeah, the dog skin drops.
I wonder how they got the dog to do that.
I think he just like what they said in the commentary was he was holding the dog and he just kind of drops it down.
Well, I mean, his leg is totally relaxed, like he's dead. It must have been like a trained dog.
Yeah, maybe something.
I like this here that they're watching horror movies.
They're watching The Thing, which is funny because
That is funny.
Later, they make it. They're watching the
It's the
original
same
50s.
It's the same
Yeah.
title sequence. I
Mhm.
never even knew that.
Yep. This is actually the thing
well, it's a
from
little
outer
different,
space.
but, yeah.
The title is the thing from outer space.
It's kind of meta here.
Yeah, it is. I don't even know if John Carpenter knew that one day
I
he
like
would
the
remake
subtle,
the thing.
like the shadows of them on the wall back there.
Ask the jack-o'-lantern.
I like that.
What about the boogeyman?
There's no
I
such
doubt
thing.
he knew.
Richard
I mean,
said
because
he
that
was
was,
coming after
what,
me tonight.
7 years later?
Richard tells you. Tommy, Halloween night.
The lighting for this
people play
movie
tricks
was
on each other.
really inspired from
It's all
the movie
make-believe.
Chinatown.
Richard was just trying to scare you.
Which,
I saw the boogeyman. I saw him outside.
There was nobody outside.
There was
What did he look like?
the boogeyman.
I like the outline of that panther right there.
All right. The boogeyman can only
who
come out
has
of
crap
the
like that in their house?
Well, I'm
It kind of
here tonight.
foreshadows like
Don't
the
let it
future,
happen.
like when Michael Myers comes after him, how he like pounces
Promise.
Yeah.
like a panther.
Can we make the jack-o'-lantern now?
It's amazing. In Halloween 2, Michael Myers walks so slow,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of.
She's outside with
I guess you
pants
could.
on.
I guess you could find it creepier that he walks a lot slower or something like that, but it always just kind of bothered me. And in Halloween 4, he's fat for some reason, and in Halloween 5, he slimmed down and he got like 2 feet taller. And in Halloween 6, he just looks like Jason, but with a Halloween Michael Myers mask on. It's a really great shot. Oh, that's so good. That's the one.
I heard about a short. I think Adam Green,
Who's there?
director of Hatchet and Hatchet 2, was involved in it. Where
Is this one of your
it was a short where Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers fell in love.
I heard about that.
Guess not.
It's so weird.
I really want to see it, but I'm not sure where I can find it.
Yeah. Google that crap.
Yeah.
Bet I can find a torrent of it.
Without
I
being
mean,
tied by-
buy it somewhere.
Buy the short.
Product placement for Todd.
I'm sure,
Now, how did
I'm
he-
sure they got tons of money for
Now, how did he close the door? That's what I want to know.
Lindsay, come out here.
the evil
Because
force.
it looks like the yeah. it
Every
looks like
question
the
is
wind's
answered
blowing.
with the evil force
the
inside
evil,
of him.
the evil that's out there.
It's in.
This is
inside.
pretty suspenseful because you think she's locked up in the thing. The little girl's gonna get it.
Love that rotation. Do you think? I mean, did they
Would
have
Michael
a track
Myers-
for that, or did
Would
somebody
Michael Myers
holding
kill?
it?
Would Michael Myers kill a kid?
Yes, I think he would. In this
Kill a
movie,
dog?
in this movie, I think he would.
That's weird. Yeah, maybe. Killed a dog. In cinema talk, that's worse than killing kids.
Yeah. They're more innocent than stupid.
You know.
I think he would if he got the opportunity to. But John Carpenter wouldn't let him.
It's so strange how we even learned this in film theory that it's like if you kill a person in a movie, that somehow you can still be redeemable for the audience. But if you kill a puppy, that's it.
Yeah.
You're evil. You're never coming. The audience will never forgive you.
Yeah. It's absolute evil there to kill a puppy. But also, that can be used as a tool to show that a villain has some redeemable qualities. If he has the opportunity to kill a dog or a puppy or a cute animal,
Sure.
he doesn't.
Sure.
He lets it live.
Sure. I was watching Rocky and I noticed. I was trying to look for the qualities of what makes Rocky nice, what makes Rocky good, because he's like a loan shark and he has to intimidate people to get money from them. But there's a scene where he's trying to intimidate this guy to get money from him, and he tells him he's gonna break his thumb, and then he doesn't break his thumb, and he gets money from him, and then later his boss is like, "Why didn't you break his thumb?" And he's just like, looks down at the ground, and he's like, "Oh, man, I figured if I broke his thumb, he wouldn't have work, whatever." And it's like, I know why I didn't break his thumb, because we like you. Because we need to like you. And we do like you because you didn't break his thumb. Because you're a nice guy.
Not breaking people's thumbs.
Yeah, I know.
Nice guy.
Equals we like you. You're a nice guy.
It's funny.
You could have broken his thumb, but you didn't.
It's funny how story manipulates feelings like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Hi, Annie. Oh, hi, Paul.
Oh, hi, Paul.
You want to come over and have sex in front
Well,
of a
even,
child?
Yeah, but I've seen
it is kind of like that. These girls, but these girls aren't looking to
Fabulous. When did they
aren't looking to have sex with their boyfriends and take advantage. Or at least not.
They're not?
Well, I think they're just more looking, to have fun and to make the best out of their situation or whatever. And they kind of are taking advantage of it. But they're not being as ruthless, I think, as, like, the people in the characters in the sequel are. The characters in the sequel are just... They're genuinely not likable people.
They're not madly humping each other.
I know. In the sequel, these characters are genuinely not likable. They're just... I feel like they're unrealistically immoral. And unrealistically... unrealistically... horny and rebellious and whatever.
These girls are just sort of like girls just want to have fun.
Yeah, they're just trying to looking for a good, they're bored because they're babysitting and it's not that fun, and they're just looking to have fun while they can babysit at the same time.
It's like they're horny without.
It's
being
not like
dirty.
she's leaving. It's not like she's gonna invite her boyfriend over and have sex while her boyfriend's there. She's taking the kid she's babysitting over to her friend for her friend to look out.
It's responsible.
It's kind of a big shocker.
Yeah. Those over the shoulder shots are really good. Why was he crouching?
I don't know.
And why did he raise up? When
to scare the audience.
The evil force.
He even made him do it. Why is she still not wearing pants?
You think Michael Myers is at fault for this if there is an evil force controlling him?
Well, is Michael Myers still Michael Myers? Is the question.
Is he just?
I think
is he just a kid that was caught?
I think Dr. Loomis makes a case that whatever was Michael Myers died when he was a little kid. That he's no longer. Dr. Loomis doesn't think of him as human. He thinks of him as a monster. Yeah, he refers to him as it.
Wait a minute.
He only calls him Michael Myers because that's what you just refer to him as.
Yeah.
Deal. Paul was grounded.
How great would it have been if they got Michael Myers to play Michael Myers?
That's so funny.
Those short Scottish guy.
I'm surprised I've never seen a parody where it's like people running away from, oh no, it's Michael Myers, and then you look and it's the comedian.
Behave.
The Canadian comedian.
Canadian comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Can you
He's
play
not
guitar
actually.
so it doesn't?
He's not actually Scottish.
I don't want it to fall.
You want to
Just you just put it like against the cushion.
I thought it was weird that but it's kind of funny because it's kind of realistic. She's singing to herself what's happening. She's like, no keys.
Yeah. Well, I think we all kind of do that.
Yeah, we can
sometimes.
do that. Yeah. And this is such a build-up. She can't get into her car. She goes and walks back up. I don't want to narrate what's happening.
I wonder if that was
commentaries.
improvised.
I hate commentaries where they just talk about what's happening in the movie.
But on the other end, I hate commentaries that never reference the movie.
Sure.
That they just like start talking about their own stuff, never say, "Oh, here's what happened."
Which
in this scene.
we've done a couple of times.
Yeah, but we're not as bad as some other commentaries I've seen. Yeah, like we'll come back to the movie and talk about what we think is important.
Okay,
in the
this is what makes it great. It's not locked anymore.
I've never even noticed that.
It's not locked. She didn't use the keys. The whole reason she went back is to get the keys to get in the car, and it's all foggy.
Also, they did that on purpose.
And it's all foggy because she's breathing heavily.
That's creepy. There's subtleties. Oh, that's a great shot from outside the foggy window. The mask looks so calm.
Okay, so do you know what the mask was?
No.
It was a... you don't see any blood.
You don't need to. Is that her face just went down on the steering wheel? Bad choice, Michael.
Okay, so the Michael Myers mask was a Captain Kirk mask from Star Trek.
No way.
Yep.
Well,
It was they show it in the documentary what it originally looked like, and it was It was a Captain Kirk mask. The hair was different, and it had eyes, and it wasn't white.
Right.
It was
They
skin
painted it.
colored. Yeah, what they did was they cut out the eyes to get it to make it whiter, like whiter eyes, and they painted it just like this. They put this white thick paint over it, and the hair was originally like Captain Kirk, like combed hair, and they just added crazier hair to it.
Wow. It's funny.
And it was just looked startling. Originally, because it was between two different masks. It was between the mask that they used in the movie and a clown mask. And so originally, it could have gone
Would've
the
been
other way.
a clown mask.
It could have been a, like what it was in the beginning of the movie, the red nose and the big red smile.
I like this.
Yeah, I like it better too.
More, because I see Michael Myers as kind of like a blank slate.
Yeah. I think that's why they went for that.
Yeah.
They wanted
I
this
kind of like
character
the
to
chemistry
be-
between these kids. Like right there. That was good. It's like the babysitters are playing
This kid-
matchmaker.
This kid freaks out a little.
Tommy, stop it! Tommy, stop it! Now, there's
He's already
nothing
seen
out
him
there.
2 or 3 times.
I know. And it's kind of like, he saw him before, and he was
He's
kind of
just
like,
now freaking out.
yeah, I know. He was kind of like, come to the window. There's something outside. And it's like this time he's like, "Ah!"
Maybe he's slowly losing his mind.
In part 6, they bring his character back as like an adult.
Huh.
And what's his name? He's famous now. He plays in Mike from Friends. Paul Rudd.
Yeah, Paul
plays
Rudd.
him. Paul Rudd plays him.
Oh.
It's like Paul Rudd's.
Paul Rudd's a
early
good-looking
movies.
guy to me.
I'm not afraid. Bull.
I like this scene because it's kind of out of Dr. Loomis's character, but it kind of it's kind of funny. He doesn't want the kids there because he doesn't want them to be in danger or whatever.
Right.
But the way he does it is kind of funny.
Go in.
Hey, Lonnie, get your ass away from there.
I like that they just run.
Is he smiling right
yes,
there?
yes,
Oh,
he's happy about what he's done. It's so funny.
It's just...
And
dang. I like that scare.
Thanks for not saying anything before you came up behind me, officer.
What's going on except kids?
Glad I didn't shoot you in the face repeatedly. Did you not hear my speech earlier in the movie?
I like that little glimpse of Loomis's dry humor, even though it's like the only one in the movie.
It's going to take more than
Otherwise,
fancy
like,
talk to keep me up all night
Oh,
crawling
good.
through these bushes.
we need to
The
get...
evil in the eyes of the blackness of Satan himself.
Let's call the president of the United
Staring
States.
at the wall, not seeing the wall,
The army over there.
looking past the wall, looking at this night inhumanly patient,
Another speech.
Yeah.
waiting for some secret, silent
He's definitely
power
got the best
to
lines.
trigger him off. Death has come to your little town, Sheriff. You can either ignore it or you can help me to stop it. More fancy talk. Doctor, you know what Haddonfield is? Families.
I don't like your words, Doctor.
I kind of wonder where they got this actor because it feels kind of like they threw all the money with
All right, I'll stay with you
like
tonight.
Donald Pleasance,
Just in
and
the chance that you're
this
right.
guy came from the local theater.
You are right.
Maybe he's like really one of the local cops.
I don't know.
Or fancy.
Now,
talk.
did you know that Jamie Lee Curtis is the daughter of Janet Leigh, the woman in the shower? It's like
No way.
Yep.
Whoa.
That's part of why she was hired for this movie.
That's insane. I mean, that's like
Because they
a
felt
family
it
of
was, they felt
plastic
it was
horror.
they felt it was serendipitous.
That's when we go
That's
upstairs to the
crazy.
They were
first
like, oh, we got it.
bedroom.
It was like between her and someone else, and they were just like, oh, we gotta go with Jamie
It's
Lee Curtis.
expensive, idiot.
Then you rip my clothes off.
It's
Then we
fate.
rip Lindsay's clothes off. Yeah, I
Has
think
to
I
be.
got it.
Totally.
I like this character. He's kind of jockish, but he's
kind of nerdy too.
yeah. Oh, he looks nerdy in today's standards. But in the
Look, he
'70s, it was
left his
like,
door open.
yeah, I know. I was gonna leave my door open. No big deal. But in the '70s standards, big glasses weren't that dorky. because it's the way they made them.
And that shirt.
Yeah. Annie! I think, no, I don't think it's here that she trips over the dolly. Track. That's later. Getting lighting
Some of these
from
shots look like they weren't on a dolly. They look like they were just by hand.
Yeah, this is a dolly.
Sort of shaky. Yeah, this is. But especially when it's
Pull
supposed
back.
to be from P to B. Michaels.
I don't think I ever caught this when I was younger. For some reason, I think it's a little dark. You can't really see, but you'll see his shoulder in a second. Michael likes to watch. Yeah. Probably because I had
He's
this
just
on
out there in
VHS.
the open on all these. Well, that kid's better now.
This is the quintessential film of feeling like you're being watched.
Stop scaring each other.
This or
I feel like I'm running out of things to talk about. So, Night of the Living Dead. That's a good one.
Well, I was gonna say about the feeling like you're being watched is a movie that came before Psycho called Peeping Tom, which was the
Is that on Instant?
Yeah.
Still haven't seen it.
the first movie to ever
Alright, you guys,
be
what's
from
next?
the killer's point of view,
No, we've
and
had
it's pretty
enough.
creepy.
Why don't we watch the rest of the movie?
I wonder if John Carpenter saw that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's
No,
like the
yes.
horror classic before
Yes,
Psycho.
he did. Before
I'm pretty
Psycho?
sure it's before Psycho.
Really?
Yeah, Peeping Tom. I think it's like
Psycho was 1960.
I thought it was 68.
Hi, Laurie.
Psycho? No,
No.
Psycho was 60.
Oh, it's in 1960.
Hey, is Annie
Peeping
around?
Tom.
I thought she'd be home by now. She went to pick up Paul.
Well, she's totally
I'm thinking
not.
night is 68.
She probably stopped off someplace. Have her call me when she gets home, though. I have Lindsay.
Maybe they came out around
Time
the
to put
same
her to
time.
bed.
Okay. Later.
Have a good time.
We definitely will.
Well,
Bye.
Poor Jamie Lee.
Lindsay.
Everyone's having a good time but her.
That's wonderful.
Little does she know.
everybody's doing it.
Little does she know.
Yeah, what lies in store for them?
Everyone's dying but her. I kind of wonder what Michael's plan would have been, because eventually, I'm not spoiling anything by saying, Jamie Lee walks over to the house and finds
Yeah.
the bodies, and that's how things escalate. But I wonder what Michael's plan would have been if that hadn't happened. Would he have just come over to her house and killed the kids and
I
killed
think
them?
so. I like that they have a jack-o'-lantern there.
I know.
That's not creepy.
Now this is a bit irresponsible just because they're doing it in someone else's bed that they
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
And it's not like they're being considerate by doing it on top of the sheets at all. They are making dirty those sheets.
Good thing there's not a black light inside that jack-o'-lantern.
It's only later when Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so will find the stain.
I think both of her legs are on one side of him. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I think you're might be right. Well, no, there's
No,
one
I
right there
see the
kicking
other
around.
leg. Yeah. Oh, that shadow.
This has got to be so awkward.
Yeah. Well, I've heard horror directors talk about, like, you know,
How
people
painfully
say
awkward it is.
Yeah,
Sex
people
scenes.
say it'd be cool to film nude scenes because you get to see somebody naked, but it's really
Really
pretty
uncomfortable.
awkward.
It's gotta be very uncomfortable.
I feel like it would be. Especially the more graphic stuff. She just lit 2 cigarettes. I like that.
Yeah.
Is that all you can say?
Yeah.
It's a nice choice by the director.
Thought you were gonna get me
JC.
Yeah.
What?
You just keep calling John Carpenter JC. Oh, JC.
You know, also known as Jesus Christ. He always has these Christ figures in his movies, you know.
Michael Myers.
Michael Myers.
Obviously the savior of the world.
The Thing.
God.
That wrestler guy from They Live.
Josh Ford really likes The Thing, which kind of surprises me.
I love it.
I
It's
know.
a
I love it too.
masterpiece.
But I don't
mean,
think Josh Ford doesn't really like any other horror
Yeah.
movies. He just really likes The Thing.
I am I don't know how I feel about Halloween and The Thing comparatively. But I think The Thing is a much
So
better
different.
movie. I guess like in almost all aspects.
Yeah.
But Halloween was so influential and visionary. you
Yeah.
know?
Mm-hmm. I kind of think of The Thing as more of a leaning more science fiction than horror, I guess.
Well, there's also very
But they're
horrifying
Yeah,
things.
it's
I mean,
very
it's like
horror.
science,
It's very
science
horror.
fiction.
No, I guess it's not.
And this is more straight, like leading
Yeah.
into the splatter genre.
Boom! That's really funny. This is one of the few times you really see Michael just be fast. This is the first time you really see him make a really quick reaction. It's the first time you're seeing him being very dangerous. I guess the time in the car comes.
I mean, he like that shot, and we didn't talk about it, but where he like jumps across the hood of the car.
Yeah.
Or not the hood, but the back of the car, and lands on the roof.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary. That
Now
he
this
can
was
be this-
ad-libbed,
That's good.
or I guess this was improvised.
Didn't he stab him in the chest?
Yeah, I know. Talk about something cool. This tilting of the head thing. It's just like he's looking at his artwork.
That's the best stuff, man. The improvised stuff.
Yeah, they were like.
Oh, I love this.
They just had that shot of him stabbing him, and they were like, and John
there's
Carpenter was
that,
just
and
like,
then-
now tilt your head, like you're looking at it.
Just to reference,
Man, this is so scary, even today.
Yeah.
This is so creepy.
the first Texas Chainsaw, when Gunnar Hansen as Leatherface improvises the little dance that's the last shot of the film.
Yeah.
That was totally improvised on his part. And that's just the climax, not the climax, but the best part of the movie.
I think this is kind of funny that you can't. The framing is just right above her boobies.
I love that he put the glasses on.
Yes, it's so creepy.
It's like you see
This
a little bit of
definitely
humor.
This definitely supports. Well, he put it on so that it would. He's trying to trick her.
Where's
Yeah.
my beer?
And this, he put the glasses on to. It's his kind of mindset of thinking like,
Well, can't you
this is
answer
a
me?
part of the guy I just killed. So if I put these on,
Why is he pausing here, do you think?
I don't know.
What's he thinking?
Well, I'm gonna call Lori. I want to know where
And the glasses, I can almost see like him thinking like this would be funny. Like these dark little gears turning in his head.
Hello?
I also like this theme music.
Hello?
Ba-ba.
All right, Annie. First I get your famous
More
chewing,
fast.
This
now I
is-
get your famous squealing.
This is kind of funny because it's kind of contrasting.
Mm-hmm.
The little humor. thing.
Annie, are you all right?
I think this is the first time you really see the mask in this shot coming out.
Are you fooling around again?
I think that's really the first kind of
I'll kill you
comedic
if this is a
relief you get
joke.
through the
Yeah.
whole movie.
Yeah, you really see the mask right here.
I can see
You can see where
I
they.
see
You can
the
see where they
Captain
kind
Kirk.
of. Yeah, you can see kind of where they tore off the hair on the side. And
Around
pushed
the
it back.
lips, I can see the Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
It's funny.
But they bought it just because they were like, this doesn't look like Captain Kirk. This just looks like a blank, creepy thing.
That's a
So I guess-
recycled shot. I feel like I've seen that shot a couple times.
Yeah, probably. Oh, the tricks of editing.
I like that. And
Reuse so much crap.
Why would you
Didn't
not?
think you need- Yeah.
We should do a commentary for The Shining sometime.
Oh man, what I could say about that movie.
We should start doing this more often. Start a commentary channel.
The commentary for the Shining would just be me going, "Oh my god, I love this!
Yes!
I love this shot! Oh my god, I love this! I love this part!"
Let's not make Halloween jealous though.
Okay. I think if when I was in high school, I loved the Beatles, and then when I went to college, I fell in love with Bob Dylan. I love that the car was there the whole time, and he just now noticed it.
Yeah. Like, what's he been looking at the whole... He's been standing there for 15 minutes.
I know. Anyway, I was going to say, I feel like when I was in high school, I liked the Beatles, and then when I went to college, I found Bob Dylan. And then I feel like that's how Halloween and The Shining are. When I was younger, I really loved Halloween, and then when I got older, I found The Shining. I realized how awesome The Shining was.
Kubrick. Probably
I think, yeah.
my favorite director.
Yeah. I mean, I liked The Shining when I was younger, but I think I was probably more bored by it when I
couldn't appreciate it.
Yeah, you couldn't really appreciate it. I think I probably found it.
Probably getting a film
boring
education has really given you a lot more things to appreciate about movies.
It's true.
From an analytical perspective.
Well, hey, you gained it just by
watching more movies and being around you sometimes.
Yeah. It's probably better. You didn't even need the glasses.
Read a lot.
Yeah.
About it.
I've been watching commentaries. I feel like I've learned.
I love watching
more about. I feel like I've learned more about movie making from watching commentaries than I ever have in film school.
Why did you go to film school?
Or I just did it in film school. Well, I mean,
should have studied neuroscience.
I learned what you don't learn through commentaries is the technical practicalities of it.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't know what gaffers did
I don't know what gaffers did
until film school. Didn't know what apple boxes were or stingers.
You know those
or what do you call it?
You know those pest control vans that the exterminators drive?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what his van looks like.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a stoner van.
Jesus, did you hear that?
It's a van that you buy so you can have sex in the back.
Ah, the shaggin' wagon. That's a different shaped pumpkin than before.
I wanted one when I was younger, but not to have sex in, just to have a seating area.
And you see like in the movies, people have water beds and stuff in it.
Yeah.
And, beads and stereos and stuff. Look at that pumpkin. It looks ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really flat.
Here it comes.
I like the wide angles that he uses in this. He uses a very wide angled lens in this bit of walking across the street and everything. And I think it showcases how alone she is outside. She's outside in a populated neighborhood, and yet
nobody's out.
And yet it's scary because there's no one. She's alone.
And it's on Halloween night.
Yeah, a night when you think there would be people out running around still.
Where do you think everyone is?
Well, it's a small town.
Has driven them inside.
It's a small town. It's probably midnight or later.
Yeah. Even the kids are still up.
Yeah. Even in my hometown, the trick or treaters stop after 9.
Yeah. Our
yeah.
Daddy?
After I felt like I was too old to trick or treat, I would
Linda?
put on my Michael Myers mask or some sort of Halloween costume and go outside and hand candy out and hold the bowl and be perfectly still and wait for people to come up close to me and freak them out.
You know what would be hilarious?
What?
If we finished this movie and this commentary and we saw that we weren't recording.
It would.
All right, Annie.
I checked it earlier to make sure it was still recording.
Good.
Yeah, still going.
I would.
An hour and 23 minutes.
I would die probably. Again, one of these really dark shots.
Yeah. You know he's here.
Yeah.
You know he's there somewhere, but you don't know where.
Just the shadows.
He's gonna come up.
I don't feel like there's a good enough use of darkness as much in modern horror.
Mm-hmm.
It's like everything has to be fast paced and well lit.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely stop being funny now. Cut it out. Be sorry.
Even in modern horror movies, whenever there is quiet moments, you can always just predict when the jump scare is going to come. Mm-hmm. And the quiet moments never last.
You don't know.
Yeah, the quiet moments never last more than a minute. And in this film, it's like, 15 minutes of quiet nothingness.
Yeah, and sometimes it won't even be nothing, and it won't be quiet, and you'll get a jump scare.
Yeah.
And that's sometimes more effective, I think, because you're really not expecting it then.
Yeah.
Just funny that.
But John Carpenter knew making this movie that the horror comes from the suspense.
Oh yeah.
And
he's not one to go for cheap scares.
Yeah, and the music really adds to that. It's not like dun music. It's more quiet piano music.
They
did a screening of this movie before the music was added, and someone told him that some executive some people told him that it wasn't scary at all, and they thought it was going to be a huge bomb. So they were just like, "There's nothing scary about this movie. What's I don't get it." And then they saw it with the music, and it completely changed their minds.
I think John Carpenter composed his first 6 movies, maybe.
Did he compose The Thing?
Yeah, I think with some help from
music in The Thing is pretty good too.
Yeah, it's great. It's totally different feel, but that's good.
Judith Myers.
But he said, he always writes and directs and produces his own stuff. And he was composing for a long time, and he said it just got to be too much. He had to drop the composing.
Too much stuff.
Also, I don't think he's as skilled in composing as he could get better
probably.
people.
I want to know how Michael shoved that body up there.
Put it on that to swing like
Made
that.
sure that it would swing down.
He was laughing to himself when he did that.
Yeah.
He shoved her in there.
And that's kind of scary.
That is.
That he's
But
maniacally
he's
when he's by himself. What he's thinking, he's maniacally like, yeah, this would be funny.
He's really messing with her.
And oh man, this has got to be the scared freaking shot.
Here comes the
Look
piano.
At it. Look at it, just.
Yeah. That's the shot I remember most from when I was a kid. Is that mask just appearing out of the darkness.
How she survived that fall, I don't know.
And then here's the You can use that moment later to sync the audio with the movie.
Yeah. Probably use the music keys. So good. You can kind of see here the window that she's about to break. You can see it's not really glass. See how it looks different? Yeah.
That's funny.
This always freaks me out. Look at his hand, how crazy it is. How fast he's moving right here. His hand is just like, and he bursts his hand through the door, just through the wooden door.
It's like when he's being slow, and it's just because he wants to do that on purpose.
Where he's like,
he can be fast if he wants to. I don't know whether he's like
I always wanted to do this, to see who would come out of their house. Like if I was running around screaming at my neighborhood, help me please, and banging on doors, who would come out? If anybody would come out.
I was gonna say, like, up until that last scene, you're kind of wondering, like, is he like this evil genius, or is he just kind of a crazy guy with a vendetta? But I think in that scene you kind of see what he's pretty genius. Yeah. That's scary. With the gravestone, she was laid out perfectly on the bed.
Yeah. This is more.
That definitely supports
I think that's Steadicam.
The thesis that Steadicam didn't come until The Shining.
No, well, it was actually right about this time.
Oh yeah?
I don't think they used it in this film.
I just read that The Shining was the first film ever to use Steadicam.
No, it wasn't. I read today.
Really?
It wasn't. It was something else again. Rocky. That's where I heard that.
Huh.
Because I was watching it.
Who is it? Tommy, open up, it's me!
Yeah, it was the same year, I think.
He's so good.
Yeah, I know. Oh man, this kid's gotten so much crap for how slow he comes to the door. Yes.
And he was freaking out earlier.
I know, and his babysitter's freaking out, and he doesn't even care. He's like, "Oh, what's wrong?"
I'm scared! Do as I say!
turn out all the lights, because that'll help.
He won't know you're in there.
Yeah.
He's stupid. Oh, it's not gonna ring now.
Oh no.
And then realizing the windows
Oh.
Jeez, what a terrifying situation.
And I'm thinking, okay, the window's right there. If he's in the house, he's obviously behind that couch right now. So why are you there?
He doesn't even make any grunt or like
Yeah.
sounds of pain.
He kind of is breathing heavily, and he's kind of like,
Yeah. Yeah, but he doesn't. I mean,
yeah.
he doesn't scream or anything.
Yeah.
Such physical power.
Now this has kind of become. This has kind of set a horror movie cliche of dropping the
Oh,
knife.
for sure. There's so many cliches that can
Because
be traced back.
this is kind of obviously bad.
Yeah.
That she has it. She's showing that she has it. And she just drops it. You can just feel the audience back in the day going, "No!"
Yeah. Or maybe not. Maybe they just thought he was dead because, up to this point, if you die, you died.
Maybe. It's true.
I was gonna say.
And this was more, Jason is a zombie, so he can't be killed. He's kind of a zombie. Freddy is kind of, he lives in your dreams, and he's kind of supernatural that way, so he can't be killed. He's kind of a ghost. Yeah, but Michael Myers, there's never really an explanation for why he can't die.
I kind of like that.
Because of what Sam Loomis knows is true. The name Sam Loomis also comes from Psycho. It was the name of the boyfriend.
Oh. There's so many cliches that can be drawn back to this movie that weren't cliche at the time.
Tommy? Lindsay?
I hate when people watch this movie, but they don't see it through the lens of 1978.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna take a little walk.
What is the boogeyman? I'm scared.
1978, right?
Yeah, 78.
Are you sure?
Right, kids don't see behind him.
How?
I killed him.
You can't kill the boogeyman.
That's another famous one. Oh, that's right.
Get in there, come on, Tommy. Now lock the door!
The way they
I feel like that's the best
the way
lit
they
we've
just
seen him so far.
Yeah, the way they just film him in this movie is, or they shoot him in this movie is so great.
It's really minimalist as well. Oh, here's another like closet cliche.
See, I think in my mind, that if you did remake this movie, that at least I don't know if you can improve anything on the story, but as far as cinematography and lighting, I think that you could try to capture or maybe recapture what John Carpenter captured so well in this, with the look of Michael Myers and everything in this movie. At least, maybe not even remake the movie, but make something that was reminiscent or very obviously influenced by this movie, and make it look so cool. Because you just don't see lighting on a character like on an evil character like you do in this movie. This is so cool.
Where are the children right now?
They're hiding in the other room.
Okay, this is kind of out of her character for me because she's not with the children.
Yeah. Well, she
I mean, maybe she's like luring him away.
Yeah, I think that's what she was intending to do. This is probably the funniest thing. Pokes him in the eye.
I actually saw in that John Carpenter movie, The Ward. I saw an interesting take on the closet cliche. There's a woman was hiding in the closet and the killer was coming after her, and the killer stabbed a knife like that through the closet, and she grabbed the knife with her hands, and he pulled it back, and of course it was all bloody.
Ugh.
So, that made me cringe, but I thought it was interesting because he thought that he had killed her.
Ah.
What an idiot not to check the closet,
Yeah.
but, you know, for real.
She didn't really have much of a choice here. I mean, I guess she could have tried to climb down the balcony. Maybe.
He looks really short in that shot. Doesn't he? I mean, he looks like a dummy almost.
Yeah.
Did she drop the knife again?
Yes, and she threw it. Oh man, I hate that one because she threw it right beside him. But he doesn't pick it back up again when he gets up. Spoiler alert, he gets back up.
Not.
Spoiler alert, he gets back up.
I don't think anybody watching this, if they are concerned about spoilers.
The front door. I want you to go down the street to the Mackenzie's house.
Okay, a little
Tell them
trivia.
to call the police.
She says,
and tell them to send him over here. Now, do you understand
says
me?
drive down to the Mackenzies.
Do as I say.
In Scream 1, that's what the father of Drew Barrymore says to the mother, drive down to the Mackenzies.
Wow.
And in Halloween H2O, okay, hold on, this is...
And you know, he was laying there conscious for probably that whole time. He was just waiting till she wasn't looking. He knows what's up.
And the character in Scream that Drew Barrymore plays is Casey Becker. And
There,
in
both
Halloween
lines up.
H2O, yeah. And in Halloween H2O, Jamie Lee Curtis says, drive down to the Beckers.
That's funny.
But I'm pretty sure the guy that wrote Scream...
Someone's waddling there.
Yeah, he is. It's kind of funny. Choke you, woman! Yeah. Alright, this is when you first see Santos' face. And the explanation that...
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Okay, and the explanation that John Carpenter gives about his face is to show that he's just a normal guy. To show that he's just normal looking. That it's not what he looks like. It's inside. This always bothers me because that does not match what the balcony looks like on the outside. If you see the house again later, earlier in the movie, it's not what the balcony looks like at all. And in Halloween 2, they refilm it so that the balcony matches.
I think I like, you know, at first when I saw that face thing, like, I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but I think I do like it for that reason that John said.
Sure.
I mean, you kind of think, like,
And he
what's
said
behind
that-
the mask? It's got to be something ugly. But
Yeah. And he said that people's reactions were like, "Oh my god!" Like it's something scary when you see his face, but it's not. It's just a guy.
Yeah, just a
It
normal
was
looking guy.
just an actor that they hired. It wasn't even Nick Castle the guy that played him.
Yeah.
They just hired some guy that looked
I wonder why they didn't use him.
like a normal guy.
Oh,
But he's kind of funny looking in real life, actually.
Okay.
Kind of Jew-fro.
And what?
A Jew-fro. Like a really fro, the white man's
Barton
fro.
Fink fro.
Now, Donald Pleasant said to John Carpenter, I can play this two ways. I can play it, oh my god, he's gone, or I can play it, I knew this would happen. And they used, I knew this would happen.
I like these shots here showing like the entrance of the house.
And it's to show that he's nowhere, and then he's everywhere. He can have a breathing. And the house, he always looks like a person. Yes. And that was Night of the Living Dead. Pretty crappy film, if you ask me. Loomis.
Luminero's Halloween.
Bracket. I like that they're all one word.
Yeah. No, have last name.
Marion.
Graveyard
Keeper.
Keeper.
Which is Ronnie.
He's the only one.
Michael H.
It's so specific ages.
And then The Shape, Nick Castle. That's what they refer to Michael Myers. The Shape.
The Shape, wow.
Yeah, I know, that was interesting.
I never realized that. All the camera people.
It feels like a really short.
Yeah.
sequence. 'Cause, man,
It was so
they
low
didn't.
budget.
I mean, yeah, it is kind of a big crew.
Best
Boy.
boy, Josh Brolin.
It is
He's
kind of a
a
big crew.
great best boy.
It
in
is
my
kind of a,
opinion.
you know,
Hey, another best boy.
it looks like a big crew, but man, it's very bare bones.
Yeah. Well, they have 2 best boys.
And that was pretty much all the people that would be on the production. You know, that's all like post.
The Bowling Green Philharmonic Orchestra. Whatever. I mean, all you had was a piano and a synth.
Did you ever notice that Don't Fear the Reapers in this?
Oh, really?
It's in the car when they're driving around.
Yeah, I think I had noticed that at some point.
It's so funny watching the credit sequence because short films that are made for UCA, like, the credits are the same. Yeah, they're so short because it was such a bare bones usual crew.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. It's a good movie. I watched it 800 times when I was young.
Hope you liked the commentary. I hope you hated it.
I hope you watched some of it.
I like that the music keeps going after the credits.
The music is out there. It's evil.
It's gonna get you.
Poop. Let's watch it again.
I feel like I didn't really watch it.
Yeah, I know.
Is it the recording still going?
Yes. Okay, I'll stop it now.
You should
Goodbye, everyone.
keep that part in there.
I'm going to.
Poop butt.